Today we're going to paint your paper. We're going to add some texture or patterns to it using several different tools. I've gathered some rollers that have a texture on them. You can see this one has wavy lines. This one has lines also that are more of a scribble type of pattern to it. I also have two scraper tools. This one has a rough jagged edge, and then this one has a jagged edge too, just a different design or style to it. On the back of my paper, I have drawn the lines that we will need for the weaving portion. And then I have also added my name and my class code. I have newspaper down on the table so that if I can paint all the way off the edges of my picture without getting paint on the table. And then I have two paint colors, the two primary colors, red and yellow, that when they mix, they make orange, the secondary colors. So a reminder, red, yellow, and blue are my primary colors. They can make all of the colors. Orange, green, and purple are the secondary colors, and they are made by mixing two primaries. I also have a brush here. I could use this in several different ways that you'll see as I'm demonstrating. So when I use the different tools, these roller tools, I could use, and I could just roll through the paint to gather some paint on them. As it spins, you can see that I'm getting paint on the different raised texture parts. And then I could just simply start to roll this across my paper to make a pattern or a design. You can see that it's running out, so I need to refill it. I could use the scraping tools and dip them into the paint. And then I could use those and pull them along my paper. Oops, that didn't work very well. Pull them along my paper and it could make some lines. I could also use these in a different way. I could take and actually paint some paper on the paper with a paintbrush. It needs to be fairly thick to do this. And then I could pull my scraper through the paint to make lines. Okay. I would like you to try to maybe mix some colors so that you can experience the primary colors making the secondary colors. So I'm going to go ahead and paint some red and yellow together here, and look at that. It's starting to make a red-orange color. Pull my scraper through that. Okay. This one I can go ahead and roll through my paint here. And I can roll it on here. I can overlap the textures. I could make my whole paper the same texture. I could use multiple textures. Okay. Multiple colors. But the goal is to cover your paper from edge to edge with paint. Ooh, that looks pretty cool. Those two rolled on top of each other. I'm going to spend some time over here with this other scraper. I wonder what happens if I roll this yellow on top of there. I just got a red design. None of the yellow showed up. I put a bunch of yellow down here. Had red on my brush, so that made orange. I can use my paint scraper here. Even pull those lines into that other texture if I wanted to. Switch up rollers, you could do that too. Okay. And then my paper would be completed when I have paint on the whole thing and textures on the whole thing. And then I'm going to take this to the drying rack very carefully